Yes, boom. We are alive, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us today. Very excited on this adventurous discovery mode lately. We stumbled into Atharva, the CEO and founder of Itsmyne. Atharva is all the way over in India. Is spending an evening with us right now. Atharva, it's great to have you on the show. How you doing?
I'm great, Theo. Thank you for having me on the show. Happy to be here.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. So what I want to do is start by getting you to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your background.
Yeah, so my name is Atharva Sabnis. I'm currently based in Pune, India. As you can tell, I'm Indian by nationality, but had the privilege of staying in multiple countries. I've grown up in parts of the Middle East, parts of Northern Africa, studied in the US, did my first few jobs in China, and now I'm back in India with my own venture. So I was in the US and upstate New York, college called RIT, did a double major over there in finance and economics. Did that major with the intention of going into investment banking, and I did. But very early on, I think I was very fortunate that I figured out very early that that is not the path I was willing to dedicate the next 10 to 20 years on. So, I kind of switched gears very rapidly on that. Came back to India, I think in about 2015. This was at the height of the startup mania in India. People were getting, I think the first few startups had become unicorns at the time, and there was a lot of hype and optimism and excitement around the entire startup culture. So I ended up launching one of my own startups, a company called Fractal Media, where we went around installing entertainment tablets across taxi cabs in all major Indian cities. But that project did not work out as we had initially envisioned. The people stole the tablets, broke them, shattered them, dust screwed them up. All kinds of things that could go wrong did go wrong. So we had to call it an early exit of sorts. Then I moved on to another venture, something in the clean tech space that went much well. Fortunately, got a profitable exit from that. And then over the past year and a half, I've been helping a couple of other founders build their own companies. And earlier this year, I think sometime around March, the whole idea of Itsmyne started brewing, and then it began with me and one idea, and then eventually got 3 more co-founders on board, got advisors, got investors, and now here we are.
Awesome. So we'll dive into Itsmyne. Give us an overview of the problem and the solution that Itsmyne is focusing on right now.
So let me ask you this, right? Have you purchased an NFT recently?
So I'm probably not the greatest example, but I've definitely been more interested, I guess, more specifically in the NFT and gaming sector. But I did purchase soccer NFTs. Yes, I have. And others, but yes, I have purchased NFTs as well.
Got it. So the reason I ask you that is that most people, what they tend to do is that the moment the NFT purchase is done, the very first trigger which happens is that you tell somebody about it, and you could tell somebody about it on a social media platform. It could be through Telegram, Twitter, Discord, any of these platforms. So a lot of people first engage in the buying or the trading of the NFT. And then because a lot of these NFTs are actually status signaling mechanisms, people also tend to engage in a lot of social chatter around them. So this chatter could be anything like, bragging about the NFT, hinting that, hey, I did not make so much money by flipping it as I would have. Or some people just have a PFP type of concept that they put it as their profile picture immediately. People engage in all kinds of social chatter when they buy an NFT. And the simple idea behind Itsmyne is to combine the trading of NFTs and the talking around NFTs into one single product experience. And that makes us, if effectively in one line, it makes us a social plus marketplace for NFTs. Now, within the broader ecosystem of NFTs, we have chosen to focus on the niche of sports. So we are a marketplace, a social plus marketplace only for officially licensed sports NFTs. So you won't see movies, you won't see music, other digital art on there. It will be a curated community of sports enthusiasts who come together, who talk NFTs and trade NFTs.
Awesome. So, I'm not a huge sports fan, but I think recognizing niche is important. one of our objectives here is understanding that, there's a huge opportunity for everyone here to understand the upside potentials to asymmetry and finding these early ideas that are trying to tweak the way we move forward. There's a lot of competition out there. You've got Immutable X working with TikTok, was it, right? And a bunch of their content creators. What are some of the obstacle or the strengths or the weaknesses that you guys have in front of you for trying to conquer and gain that traction? Do you think that focusing just on the sports niche will help that? Will help fix that? Or sorry, overcome those boundaries, I guess?
I think it's very early to make an assumption, but our thesis is yes, and that is why we have chosen this path. And let me just elaborate a bit. Right? One aspect of what we are doing is that we are combining the trading and talking into a single product. But the second thing is, which we are doing very differently from a lot of other NFT companies, is that we are not focused on the crypto whale community. We are actually focused on the Web2 people who will eventually become the next, some of them will become the next NFT whales, and they will actually lead and sustain this wave of growth that the NFT market has recently experienced. So to make it easy for these guys to use the platform, what we have designed Itsmyne in a way that from the time that you discover Itsmyne to the time that you complete your first NFT purchase, it is just a 2-minute process. You don't have to spend 30-40 minutes linking a crypto wallet to your OpenSea or other marketplace account, figuring out how to fund that wallet through an exchange, and so on. It is like any Web2 product experience wherein the person can directly go on the app, make the purchase, and we keep the custody of their NFTs on their behalf, giving them the option to export out whenever they wish. So we have removed the onboarding friction within the NFT purchase journey. But then coming specifically to your question about sports, right? What are the obstacles that we have faced? When we actually got started down this path, we rightly assumed that getting sports brands to partner with us would be the most difficult part. Because if effectively what we are building is that we are building a double-sided marketplace. This is not very different from Uber. On one side of things, we have to create supply, high quality supply. And then on the other side of things, we have to also create demand so that the supply can sustain and retain. Both of these things have to come together. And like any marketplace product, we also have to go beyond that initial phase, which we call a chicken and egg problem, until we actually achieve what we call critical adoption. So the way that we have done this is that we have actually decided to go in a single player mode, and we have decided to onboard the supply side first. So we have actually had some early successes in that, got a couple of good names to partner with us from the European sports segment. And now that we have these names who will partner with us on the day of launch, now we are actually putting efforts into building the demand side funnel. And the way we are building this demand side funnel is that our primary source actually is Reddit. So just to put some context, reddit.com has about 18 sports subreddits, which have over 1 million subscribers. So we are simply going to Reddit and announcing airdrops of our tokens and some other rewards for people who become early users of Itsmyne. And the plan is to get a very small community, say around 1,000 users initially, a couple of good sports brands, and see how these stakeholders interact with each other. We want to track what kind of levels of Reddit attention we have, what kind of levels of engagement. And if we know that we are on path to achieve a product market fit, that is when we would actually open up this product to the broader audiences. The plan right now is to go niche, go small, do a very small low-cost experiment, and actually get things right before scaling up further. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, great. I agree with you. We've thought about this for a little bit too, the ability of a focused niche marketplace. I think that even a content creator like Arcane Bear as a community really shows the strength and the power of just a few thousand people in terms of the building structure, what you can pull together. Very, very powerful. Gary Vee has a quote about that too. Is like, you only need 1,000 true fans or something like this, I think is his quote. But it's extremely important sentiment, and that product market fit can be extraordinarily robust as well, which is an interesting conversation, because we had a conversation Elvin from Manga about this kind of really niche focused marketplace, that one particular type of audience, instead of, where OpenSea is focused on the growth of the ecosystem and Ethereum specifically. So where you've got Solana's focused on Solana specifically, you see the power of those communities really kind of come together and do a great job. The other thing here too that you talked about was the Web 2 to Web 3 kind of conversion layer for people. And I've seen a few good ones, like with DigiFox, I'm an advisor for. They started to integrate this idea where you'd log in with your email, and I'm assuming that's what you guys are doing as well. And then what you do is the email custodial, does the email custodial the user's credentials, or does Itsmyne as a computing platform?
So what we have done is that we have actually integrated with a third-party custodial wallet service. So the users can sign up on Itsmyne using an email and a password, or they can also actually do a social media authentication. So we will be supporting logins through Facebook and all other major social media platforms. People can simply come and create an account. For the two-factor authentication to take place, we actually take their phone number as well during sign up, which means that every time that they sign up, they get a OTP on their phone. They just enter the OTP and they are in on the platform. Once they are in on the platform, so this is for the web version, right? You have to log in, log out on the web every time. But in the mobile version of it, you will stay signed in. The only time that you would be having to re-enter that OTP is when you want to actually do a transaction. But really, if you look at it, what we are doing is that we are actually doing two things, right? So there are two types of user activities that will happen on Itsmyne. The first activity is the activity around the social interaction. This social interaction is between the buyers and the publishing brands, which is the sports clubs, leagues, teams, and federations, as well as the interactions are also between buyers with each other. So people who are all, say, basketball fans, within the Itsmyne app, there will be a basketball channel. All the basketball fans can browse basketball and NFTs on that channel. They can talk basketball, read basketball. They can be like, hey, I was at the game where this NFT was created from, and so on. Similar to Reddit, we also have a points-based system of upvotes and downvotes, which will enable content to rise to the top in a very democratic manner. This will give even smaller brands and publishers a chance to get their NFTs be highly featured if they have a loyal enough fan base that talks and trades in that particular segment. But one more thing around your point, Theo, was that in addition to having this whole email login, we are also accepting payments in crypto as well as fiat. So people can simply just choose to make it like an e-commerce transaction, or if they have crypto, then great, they can pay through that as well.
And which blockchain are you guys using on the back end to support the infrastructure?
So we are building this on the Near protocol. A Near protocol has a layer called Aurora EVM. We are building on that to make the NFTs that are minted to be portable to Ethereum.
So I guess if it can run on Ethereum, it can run on Avalanche then as well. Is that correct?
Yes, and the plan is to add multi-chain support as we go along.
So I'm not super tech savvy, and I remember the last time we chatted, we went over Near. Can you give the community a little bit of a rundown? I just would like to make everything as educational as possible.
Yeah. So Near, I think, recently crossed I think $250 million in market cap. It is relatively a newer blockchain, but one very interesting fact about Near is that Near is a certified climate neutral blockchain. So this certification actually enables us to also market Itsmyne as a green and climate neutral product. Despite the fact that they are new, Near has two things which are extremely helpful to companies like us. The first thing is that Near's developer documentation is among the best that our developer team has ever seen. And we have people who have worked on Polygon, Binance, all the major chains. But Near's developer documentation is on point, very easy to build with Near. Second thing is that they have a very active community of guilds. So guilds are basically groups which help Near projects with various aspects of their business. So for example, Near has guilds on social media marketing. So our own social media, by the way, is handled by one of the Near protocol guilds. So they have a guild which gets paid from near, and in return, if we qualify for their services, we actually get to utilize their services as an extension of our own team. And they have these kinds of guilds for development, marketing, graphic design, community building, blockchain consulting, sandbox testing, all facets of the business. That actually makes it really easy for us to focus on our core value proposition, which is to get good brands and to get users.
Awesome. So we kind of loosely touched on partnerships. What can you share with us about the direct partnerships you've got lined up now?
So there are actually three major partnerships. One is that our first pilot in the sports system is happening with FIBA, Federation of International Basketball in Switzerland. We're in talks about what NFTs and so on exactly, but we're targeting about 50 to 60 NFTs to be dropped on the day of launch. The second partnership, and this is a very interesting piece of news, we are actually partnered exclusively with an upcoming marketplace, which will be India's first Bollywood NFT marketplace. And this is a Bollywood NFT marketplace for officially licensed Bollywood NFTs. So this is not in the sports domain. What we are doing with them is that we give them a part of our technology and co-develop the product, but they front end the whole operation. But this actually makes our Mine token have utility on both Itsmyne as well as on that partner's platform. That platform is called Social Swag. It goes live in the month of December. I think most likely the first week of December. So FIBA, Social Swag, and there are two more brands that we are speaking with. One of them is an Indian cricket team, but that is not yet finalized. So I don't want to jinx it. But I think when we go live, we will have at least 100 odd unique NFTs available for people to choose from and interact with.
Awesome. So when's the IDO and the launch date?
So we actually have a lot of interest from all the major IDO launchpads. So we are in the contracting stage right now, but the launch is tentatively for the last week of October. The date will be announced shortly. I think today we are on Wednesday, but by Friday, Saturday, the dates will be announced because we are still in the final contracting stage. But we are looking to launch the Mine token, which is the platform native token on BSC chain. So it will be a BEP20 token.
Okay. And is that just for costs of dispersing tokens effectively as well in platforms? Like so what are the launch pads then with BSC that people will be able to access, like PancakeSwap, or what else is out there for the launch pad?
ProStarter is there, Samurai Launchpad. These two are the ones which we have, which we are talking to. Most likely the launch will be on both of them simultaneously. BP20 has been chosen just because it is cheaper to avail those tokens than ERC20. Right.
I want to know when everyone switches to Avalanche. That's what I'm thinking. The security is just so much higher. Is there anything visual you want to share or take us over with that you have created so far? And then let's go over the team afterwards.
Yeah, sure. I think what I can do is I can show you a video about of Itsmyne. It will actually give people a preview of how the actual product is going to look when it goes live. Or let me share my screen. One sec. Could you give me screen sharing access, which is basically screen sharing?
I forgot when we went live. I had to switch and take access back. Here you go. There you go.
Thanks.
Should be up now.
Yeah. So that's basically a video preview of the app. But like I said, I think the best way to think about Itsmyne is there are actually two ways to think about Itsmyne. For those who are watching this from the North American region, in the US and the UK, there's a very popular product called eToro. Are you familiar with it?
eToro.
Yeah.
Is it the trading platform?
Yeah, they are endorsed by Alec Baldwin. It's a $10 billion company. They are a social trading platform in their own words. And actually, basically, you can follow people who trade stocks, equities, bonds, mutual funds, indices, and so on. And you can actually replicate their trading strategy, exchange tips, and so forth. So in one context, you can think of Itsmyne as being the eToro for NFTs, because not only can you connect with fellow sports fans who also have an interest in NFTs, but you can actually see what they are interested in. You can follow the top guys. You can try to even replicate their strategies and so forth. The other way to think about Itsmyne, for those who are not familiar with eToro, is that you can just simply think of Itsmyne as being a hybrid between NBA Top Shot and Reddit, because we actually offer a front end similar to NBA Top Shot, very easy to navigate and use for the Web2 guys. But like Reddit, we have the functionality to engage in social interaction, peer-to-peer as well as peer-to-publisher.
Great. So save the best part for last. Tell us about the team that's helping you build who you're working with.
Yeah, so I think this whole journey began with just me and the idea, but very early on I was able to get 3 key people on board, and now those 3 people are the co-founders of Itsmyne. I'll start up with our CTO. His name is Ayan Wali. He was my friend in the US. We were both studying in the same college, which is RIT. I was there in the business school. He was there in the software, in the engineering department. And just to put some context, Ayan is actually one of those guys who back in the day had won a fully paid scholarship to go to the US from the government of Kazakhstan, because he aced some national level exam which gave him that. So he's always been like a very intelligent guy. After finishing his graduation from RIT, he went out to work with companies like Fidelity Investments, Philip Morris, Freshop, a couple of more companies which I don't even remember the names of, but he has always worked in leading software engineering and software development roles. And now with Itsmyne, he's our CTO and head of engineering. So everything that you see being built is either directly done or being overseen by him. Working very closely with Ayan, we have Nikhil. Nikhil is our blockchain head. Just to put some context to Nikhil's work, Ethereum is about 6 years old. Nikhil has been doing Ethereum development since the last five odd years. So he was very early on within the Indian community to get on the whole Ethereum development part of things. So he's actually developed blockchain infrastructure, smart contracts, and so on for a large number of other token projects. And this is the first time that he's building for himself with us as part of Itsmyne. We also have Ujwal. He has previously started and scaled a sports tech venture of his own. Then he worked in the venture capital field for a short while, and he's helping us with commercials and partnerships. And my own background, I've already told you. But apart from these 4 co-founders, there are also a couple of very good accelerators that we are a part of. So there's a lot of advisory and ecosystem support from that side. And we also have a couple of direct advisors from the crypto community as well.
Awesome. So we've got your launch coming up October 14th. That's correct.
So October 18th to 25th is the tentative date, but the exact date is not yet confirmed. But it would be mostly in this range.
Awesome. Yeah, I think that this is such an interesting part. This investing in venture capital, especially in the long term here. We have a mantra which is from an Indian investor. His name is Monish Prabhai. He wrote a fantastic book called Dan Dao. Have you ever heard of it?
No, but I'll check it out.
Yeah, it's a really good book. I suggest everyone read it or listen to it in an audiobook. But it's a theory between this kind of high reward, low risk investing style, and looking for asymmetry. And venture capital fits this perfect little sweet spot, right where you have this huge amount of potential with very little risk quite often. One of the things that I like about that is it gives everybody a really easy stepping stone to investing constantly over the long term. Or we try to get people away from the craziness of price fluctuations, and to get them to where they can enjoy it, because it's largely about patience. I'm really interested to see how this social plus or NFT plus version evolves. I think focusing on a niche will do well. We've seen that in the past as well. So it'll be fun to see where you guys go over the next few months. We've got all of your social links down below. Oh,
yeah, just around this point, Theo, since you brought it up, right, venture capital and the whole asymmetry part, I just want to mention one thing. The whole social plus angle of things, some people are very skeptical about it, right? But the thesis which we really believe in is a thesis by your venture fund Andreessen Horowitz, A16Z. They actually have data that if you do a social plus product, the initial struggle to traction is much higher than a non-social, a purely transactional product. But if you're able to pull it off, the delta in valuation to be achieved is much higher. And one of the most commonly cited examples is in the gaming space. So we can take two games, right? For example, Assassin's Creed and Fortnite. Both of them are fantastic games. Assassin's Creed, also a great brand, but it has about a $300 million valuation. But their social counterpart, Fortnite, has a valuation of 28 billion. So it's just like a massive difference in delta. And I really hope that we're able to work out the whole product market fit part to somehow to at some point go down that road. But yeah, I think this is one of the core thesis why we are going down this social plus path. Because if you're able to do it right, then we'll have better user engagement, better retention, lesser churn, and ultimately a more defensible business model.
Yeah, I've actually started to wonder if how long it would take until Twitter tries to integrate stuff like this, where you can showcase your NFTs as your profile picture without just screenshotting them, where you actually can digitally sign things, much like you're saying with the login process for the authentication of the account itself. Anyways, super fun, Atharva. So everyone, the social media links for them are down below. Check out their Telegram channels. Wait, I'm not sure. I didn't actually look. Is the Twitter up yet? You guys have your Twitter account up, correct?
Oh yeah, Itsmyne Club. At Itsmyne Club.
Yeah.
ITSMYNE Club.
Okay. Sorry, say that again.
The spelling is just ITSMYNE. So it's mine with a Y.
Perfect. Was glad you spelled it out there. Remember to give us a thumbs up if you guys enjoyed this content. This idea of like global decentralized venture capital, I think, is one of the most exciting opportunities. That's what I keep trying to share with people, like this mantra of just consistently looking for new and interesting stuff is so fun and fascinating. So it's been great to chat with you. It was good to catch up with some of your personal conversation as well before the show. I'm sure we'll have you on again in the future, just to see where you guys land in the next few months. I look forward to it. Actually, we have an article. I think we're having our research team is finishing up our article about you guys that should be out within this week as well. And we usually try to share a few more deep dives on that as we get closer to the launch too. So keep your guys' eyes out on the written content. Atharva, thank you for joining us today. We'll speak again soon. Okay.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Awesome. Ciao.
Thank you.
Nice. Great work.